European Council President Herman van Rompuy said, quote, "With Russia, Europe does not need a reset, but a fast forward," quote. Europe has the finance, the technology, and know-how to help Russia build a stronger manufacturing industry. Russia has a highly skilled workforce and a specialization in the energy sector and energy-intensive manufacturing sector. With improvements to its current legislation on foreign investments, IPR, and manufacturing standards, Russia could attract a wealth of new investment. If we move forward on these points, I'm totally convinced that EU-Russia relations will prosper.
We, as the business part of this dialogue, need to see to it that the major thrust will be to simplify regulation. Simplification of regulation is the new thing, and that should embrace the transfer of investments, the movement of investors, adaptation of investments, because this is the vital interest of investments, and therefore it paves the way towards new relationships.
Two things I did not like in this discussion. One thing is that we should help Russia modernizing. No. No. We should benefit. We should look for opportunities. We means industry. We means the investors. When we do not help, but we look for opportunities, and I agree that we find enormous opportunities, what Mr. Thumann said, we should use them and not invent a new wheel and start with new bureaucratic exercises, but identify projects, and investors will very fast find out where we could benefit and where we could make profit.
We can start from the base of projects in order to expand and increase mutual trust between Russia and European Union. And I mean specific projects, which we have discussed. It would be a good idea to create a list of such projects and start monitoring how those projects are evolving in order to move ahead and in order to explore further opportunities for further cooperation between our respective parts of the world.
I think we witness a fundamental change in the balance of strength and power between the two sides of this dialogue since last year. And that change is induced by the increased weakness of the EU coming about through the sovereign debt crisis. I think that rebasing of the balance is an excellent thing for the future of the relationship, and it has already changed the tone of the conversation between the two sides. We need each other deeply. We cannot have a modern society without ubiquitous cheap energy, ubiquitous cheap capital, and continuous progress on our social and economic and political systems. We each of us have entirely complementary gifts on all three of those dimensions. We should start sharing those gifts and helping each other forward.
I think we need 3 Ps from the politicians' support. First is predictability, and I'm very grateful to the Ministry of Economy and personally to Mr. Slepnev for the very consistent and clear policy towards improvement of business climate. The second P is priorities, and here we face the challenge to transfer the more strategic goals into very concrete and pragmatic projects on the ground. And the third P is, I think, preferences, especially in new and high-tech markets. And I think Skolka was a very good example. We need preferences for the business. I think together with politics, we should create new markets for our future cooperation.
Modernization is necessary not just for Russia, it's needed for the European Union, and we are all at the new technological level. We have to modernize our life. Our relations also need modernization, require modernization, and I must say that this modernization must provide for practical steps regarding specific projects so that we all work together